Hello, 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 and welcome to the World Series of Paul. That's for you, chat. The World Series of Paul. We're here. That is debt to me with 777,000 chips. More on that story in a moment. 2,545 entries. We are down to our final nine. $11,360 guaranteed for all of these players. First place, a whopping $133,000. I am David Tuchman. Thank you for joining us, guys. And joining me is two-time circuit ring winner and World Series of Poker bracelet winner with over 1.5 million in live earnings. All around great guy, even a better poker player than that. It is Ryan Leng. How are you, Ryan?
Doing great. Thanks for having me, Tuck.
Dude, I like the hair, man. That is a good look.
Yeah, I don't. I don't like the hair. I'm not a hat guy, but there's nothing I can do with it right now. It is out of control.
I'm just telling you, I'm digging it, man. I am digging the whole thing. I like it going on. Blinds are 80,000, 160,000. Let's just set the table for everybody here. Once again, 2,545 entries, a $400 tournament here. Obviously, a Sunday. It's a big day on online poker. We had a huge turnout, and here we are with our final nine players. Our chip leader right now is Meatball 44. That is Vincent Ablahani. Now, throughout this series, and this is obviously the 19th event, we have had big names at every single final table. Today, we've got Paul, which is debt to me. Meatball 44, though, our chip leader is Vincent Ablahani. His career live tournament winnings, just 1,800. He has 21K in online earnings on 888 Poker New Jersey. So, chip leader with not a ton of experience, at least running deep in these tournaments. Ryan, do you remember your first couple of like runs when if you could go back and like how nervous you might have been, what beginner mistakes you might have made, or were you just good right out of the gate?
Well, for me, I had played so many sit and goes that final tables were sort of kind of just second nature for me. So I felt fairly confident, but certainly like my first WSOP final table, I was, absolutely nervous. But nervous, excited, um, and yeah, just had fun with it. I imagine these guys are feeling the same way.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. By the way, the gentleman we've been talking about is debt to me. If you're wondering what I am talking about, Chad has been going crazy about Paul Gunnis, who is debt to me. He's not involved in this hand, but it doesn't make a difference because apparently we are at the World Series of Paul. He was in in Jeff Platt's chat as PGB55. He apparently had three big blinds with just 27 left, and apparently he's a complete baller. He lives in Vegas, but he's playing this from the Aria Sky Suites. So the entire chat is all Paul, all day, Paul. All in here from Hunt Dizzle. Hunt Dizzle, by the way, also a favorite of some players here. That is Hunter Fry, fifth cash of the series, 850,000 in winnings at World Series, 1.3 million total according to Hendon Mob. That is Hunter Fry. Hunt Dizzle on 2.1 million. How's your series been going, my man? You've had some deep runs, I saw. Oop,
Yeah,
Paul's
I've had
all in.
some.
And he got
We'll
called.
sweat Paul here.
Yeah, we're going to get some action here. Ace 4 versus Jacks. He needs running eights. Or a 4 or an ace. A 4 or an ace. And unfortunately, the Paul hype train has come to an end.
GG Paul.
Chad is going to implode. Paul Gunnis, awesome run. Great run there, guy. Paul Gunnis, he will finish in ninth place, take home $11,360, and we are down to 8. Now, you might think, chat, that the show is over because Paul is just done, right? Nope. We're going to keep going. We have a bracelet to award, and other 8 very deserving players battling for 133,000. So despite the fact that Paul is no longer in this tournament, we are going to, as difficult as it may be, we are going to trudge along. All in here from 610. You were saying, how's your series going, buddy?
It's going fairly well. A lot of cashes, a lot of deep runs, but a lot of heartbreak as well. So still yet to make a final table and have a nice big score. So
It's funny. I've been obviously I start watching it usually around 6, 7 o'clock. I'll kind of peek in, I'll look, I'll peek in, I'll look, go back and forth. Vapor 098 is all in. I don't think he has fold equity. He does an ace king versus ace jack. That is not a good flop for ace jack, and he is drawing dead. Vapor 098. That is Michael Frederico, who is from Vegas. Made 66,000 on 888 New Jersey. He's going to add another 14,659 to his poker resume, and an 8th place finish. And we're down to 7. Yeah, so I follow the tournament from pretty much about 6 or 7 o'clock Pacific time, and then I'll start watching once it gets on to Jeff Platt's Twitch channel. By the way, guys, Jeff Platt killing it. You got to watch him, twitch.tv/Jeff Platt. He starts at 10 p.m. Once we get to the final table, he hands it off to us. We take it to the end. It's a great partnership. It's beautiful. Nonetheless, though, I watch that as well, and I've seen some of your runs. You've been crushing it. I guess just not. That's tournament poker, though. It's so tough. You can be crushing it, and if you're not getting the deep runs, you're just not going to make money, huh?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm in maybe slight profit on the series, but certainly not what you're hoping for. It's very similar to my World Series last year, where I just had a lot of deep runs and cashes, but just nothing really big. But
Right.
that's just part of tournament poker.
Yeah, 2018, if I remember correctly, worked out much better for you.
Yes. Yep.
Of course,
Yeah, less
2018.
cashes, less deep runs, but finally the big win.
Right. Yeah, 2018, of course, that was when Ryan Leng won a bracelet. He won that in the $1,500 bounty event, I believe, right?
Yep.
I'm not going to lie. We don't really know much about any of these players. We know Hunt Dizzle. I know Meatball's name. We knew Paul Gunnis. But the rest of the people at this table are a bit of a mystery to us, which is kind of what I expected would happen when we came into the World Series of Poker.com, the online bracelet series. It hasn't been the case. Each and every night we've had big names make the final table. Obviously once in a while we're going to get one like this, so we can really evaluate the poker a little bit. We get an all in here.
Young Koi is Sang Lee, right?
That is Sang Lee. Yes. Do you know Sang Lee?
I don't know him personally, but I was just looking up the names, and I thought he had some decent scores. Oh, maybe not actually. Yeah, he's got 6 figures in cashes, so
That's not bad. Hey, by the way, this is Hunter Fry's 4th bracelet final table. So his 4th final table at a World Series of Poker bracelet event. Hunter Fry looking for his first bracelet, though. All these players are obviously looking for their first bracelet. Our chip leader, by the way, is Nam T1, who we don't know anything about. So, hey, listen, we'll evaluate the poker. It's good. Blinds are 8160. With the chip stacks as they are and the pay jumps as they are, what should your strategy be depending on what stack you are? Give me an example of some of these players, because right now it's kind of a have and have not situation. I've got 4 players on about 2 to 3 million, and then I have 3 players with over 8.
yeah, it's really interesting because there's no one really running away with it. So it's not like you have this common dynamic where there's one chip leader who can just kind of abuse the middle stacks, and the middle stacks have to play tight. Now you really, like you said, it's the haves and the have-nots. Like KB, Meatball, and Nam are all they all have to kind of be cautious of each other for now until one of them can try and separate themselves. If one of them's able to do that, then they can really start to put pressure on the other big stacks and the larger of the smaller stacks.
Let me ask you something. I understand the adage, obviously, the chip leaders, doesn't make a lot of sense to get into a huge confrontation with the other chip leader because of the huge pay jumps. But what if one of the chip leaders knows the other chip leader thinks that way and is able to exploit it? You see where I'm going?
Yeah, and it's certainly something to consider. But with that being said, if you wind up playing a big pot, if you happen to know that about the other big stack, you know that they're not going to really mess with you. Then when you wind up playing a big pot with them, you just know they're gonna have it. So you can. I think the best strategy is to kind of chip away and win small pots in that sense, but try to avoid just playing big pots with each other in general.
I want to shout out to everybody in the chat here. The Last Ship, Jeff Platt, Mike Munier, Job Spades, Gumball, SD Jen, Ryan Hiller Poker, Ellen Ray. Ellen, come on, where's the love? This is a pro Paul chat. If you're not going to be pro Paul, I don't think you need to be in the chat. You can watch the show, just don't be in the chat. You're just gonna get run out of there. Carlos Dangerfield. Once again, guys, Jeff Platt doing a great job. If you are not watching, if you have to, 10 p.m. Pacific time, twitch.tv/Jeff Platt. Just absolutely crushing it. And we'll be here each and every day in the month of July. I know GG Poker, World Series of Poker events have started as well. I am staying here. I'm going to be covering the WSOP.com ones. I know GG's got some sort of streaming thing going on, but I am here. Hunt Dizzle all in. Oh, Ace Queen versus Ace Deuce. Nam makes the call.
Some chop outs. Nope.
Not going to get there, though. And neither player with a club in their hand. And Hunt Dizzle going to win this one and double up to 3.29 million. Certainly one of the players at this table who appears to have the most experience. Do you like that call off with the Ace Deuce?
Yeah. I mean, Hunt Dizzle's super short. He's going to be shoving a ton of hands there, and we have the chips to spare. So
yeah,
definitely
to your point,
Nam there. The Ace Deuce.
Yeah, Nam's still with 8.9 million even after losing that. Young Koi, who moves all in. He's going to take that one down. Once again, Ryan Leng, David Tuchman here, calling the World Series of Poker action. Any plans for you to get out of the country in August?
Yeah, nothing finalized yet. I don't think I'm going to be able to do the whole month. I don't think I'll be able to swing that with the girlfriend, but I'm definitely going to play the main. I'm about 6 hours from Rosarito, Tijuana, so I think we're going to get an Airbnb down there, just me and maybe a group of 3 or 4 friends, and just kind of go back and forth and kind of pick which events we want to go down and play.
Right. Yeah. It's weird. I'm pretty sure I probably got a text from you inviting me. I didn't see it though. I'm sure it's coming. I'm sure it'll be there. It's cool. I'll just show up at the front door. It's all good, man.
All right. Sure. Yeah.
Get a raise here from Meatball 44. Action folds around to Chopa, who's all in for 3.3 million. Back over to Meatball. This is a significant portion of Meatball's stack. How good a hand does he need to call off?
He needs a really good hand to call off here because Chopa is just so incentivized to either flat or even just fold there, given the shorter stack. So when he shoves there, he's just pure strength.
Blinds moved up to 100,000, 200,000. Once again, 2,545 entries, 38 million chips in play, a tad over to be exact. Players started with 15,000 in chips, 15-minute levels, and here we are down to our final 7. I say this every like third or fourth final table, and it's just so hard for me to wrap my head around it that in the span of an hour, somebody's going to get really lucky and win 133,000, and somebody's going to get unlucky and win 25K. You know, the span, it's just crazy to me that it's like that huge of a gap between like 6th place and 1st place.
Yeah, these pay jumps are steep, and that makes it fun, makes it exciting.
Let me ask you from
incentivizes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say it also like incentivizes players to disregard ICM somewhat and kind of just go for the win.
Or at least go for a top 3 finish, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's funny how people, I always notice the people who are like, they want to try to ladder up because they're like, well, the difference between 7th and 6th is $6,000 and I don't want to give that up. Right. But if you play so tight that you don't give yourself a good chance to finish in the top 3 where the real money is at. I mean, obviously it's all real money. I mean, everybody for a $400 tournament, everybody at this final table is guaranteed 5 figures. That's ridiculous. Yeah. But obviously the top 3 is where all the money is at. Let me ask you from a studying standpoint, and I know you work on your game a lot. I know you coach, you work on your game. Because this is where the money is at, Would you suggest that you should probably spend a disproportionate amount of your studying time on actual final table play as opposed to getting here? Obviously, you've got to be good enough to get here, but the whole point is when you get here, you better be good enough to play it really well.
Yeah, absolutely. And same with the particular like stack depths that you tend to be at in these spots. You know, the 15 to 40 big blind stacks. That's when the biggest swings in equity. That's when your decisions are going to be worth the most amount of money. So yeah, you should absolutely spend a disproportionate amount of time studying final tables.
Ryan, you kind of look like a silver panda to me right now. King Queen, that's going to be good. Nice little value bet here by Hunt Dizzle of the 4.2 million. No, seriously, you're so furry right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have not been going out. A haircut is just not a priority for me at the moment. Not worth the risk for me. So we're letting it grow. Just letting it
See,
flow.
yeah, you and I are on the same page. In the scheme of like what I'm going to take risks to do, haircut is not on that list of things. So you
Right.
and I are in the same. Hunt Dizzle, by the way, in a little bit of a run here. Maybe in his fifth World Series of Poker bracelet run, his fifth final table, can he finally close the deal? Can he win a bracelet? I've just shaved it off.
That's going to be the play here. I actually just ordered a razor online a
There
couple
you go.
days ago, so I will be shaving it off, shaving the beard. Maybe after the World Series, or if I win a bracelet.
Young Koi all in for 1.9 million. Young Koi has learned much, and he is up to 2.47 million. Still 7 players remain. Ryan Leng, David Tuchman here. Yeah, you're so furry. I think honestly, my kids might think you're like a stuffed animal.
Yeah,
I, I
it's
know
out
that
of
might come
control.
out. I know that might come out as an insult, but I don't mean it
No,
as
not at
one.
all. No, not at all. Not at all.
By the way,
No, I've noticed.
when I say something that's ridiculously insulting, but I don't mean it to be an insult, my wife calls that a tuckism. So I apologize in advance for my tuckisms.
Oh, yeah, you can't really say anything to offend me. It's
Well,
fine.
there you go. Cool.
I mean
Then
I've
you and I can be friends.
perfect. No, I wake up every morning. I see what this looks like without the hat, and I mean it is out there. It's pretty wild.
What's up, Wicked One? Thanks for joining us. Gumball 05. You can play this in Nevada or New Jersey. All you have to do is be in the state of Nevada and New Jersey. You don't have to live here. You can just go there, which is why you look at these numbers of the World Series of Poker, and you can only play in 2 states. We're in the middle of a global health pandemic, and we're still getting 2,545 entries. Imagine we weren't in the middle of a global health pandemic, and you added 2 more states to the mix. We might literally get 18,000 in an event like this.
Could you imagine? That'd be fantastic.
I can imagine. Like I said, I mean, everything stops us from doing this. We had an all in here, and it's a little bit over a pot size bet. This is very polarizing. What is he telling? What story is he telling? Is he saying I got 5-7? I got there. So many,
I
all the.
missed. Did you can you recall the action here? Did it go open, defend?
It's blind on
Looks
blind. I mean, all the draws missed. I mean, the Jack 10 missed, the 10-8 missed, the spades missed.
yeah. I mean, with this obviously over betting the pot here, shoving for over pot. He's polarizing here. So
Ace Queen.
wow.
Wow. You know what? I love that. I love that he made such a polarizing bet size with one pair. Because sometimes you get paid off. Like you have like this crazy weird spot where somebody's like, well, you're doing this with like a straight or nothing. And you can't get here with a straight. So I'm going to call you with a 9.
Exactly. Yeah, I really like the sizing there on the river, especially when all the draws miss.
I don't think that's used enough. I want to pick your brain on this as we watch this play out. All in here from 610 610. I feel like bet sizing, especially polarizing bet sizing, it just seems like it's like the nuts or it's nothing at all. And I feel like good players can trick their opponents and expand that range on the higher side. and put some more value hands in there that they just know are good, like the ace queen in that situation. What are your thoughts on
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. I'm actually a huge proponent of that. I did it today, early in this tournament. I did it and got paid. Um, actually busted a player in a really interesting spot where I had opened Queen 10 suited and gotten called from the big blind, and they let out on 9-4-5, something like that. I peeled one. There was one club. Turned to 10. Check. I bet he calls river complete brick. Check. And it's just such a dry board. He just like always has a 9 here. So I went for the overbet with top pair queen kicker and got a call from a 9. So
Love it.
kind of a similar spot. I'm a huge fan of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of players make the mistakes of essentially playing their hand face up, especially when they take kind of a pot control, like check call line or check back line.
Yeah.
That you can take advantage of that. By the way, we got some information here. KB Concepts, who's on 4.1 million on the left side of your screen, kind of looks like Bryce Yockey, doesn't he? Is-
You're saying the avatar? What
yeah,
is or yeah, a little bit. I can see
yeah,
it.
right. Like look a little like Bryce. For those of you who don't know Bryce, Bryce is the guy in the 50K Players Championship last year who took one of the
Oh god.
sickest beats you'll ever know. If you don't know mixed games, you just got to watch it. Nick Schulman describes it better than I ever will. Nick Schulman, of course, the goat. He just does an amazing job. The way he lost this particular hand in that tournament is sick. Anyway, KB Concepts is not Bryce. That is Kenneth Phillips. Thanks, chat. Who has 190,000, by the way, according to Pocket Fives, 78,000 on Hendon Mob. So over a quarter million total for KB Concepts. Chopa, by the way, this is his second ever World Series of Poker cash. His first one
Wow.
was event number 3 of the series.
Oh wow. Good for him.
Yeah, and he's now the chip leader.
That's got to be so much fun for him. I mean, it's fun for anyone, obviously, but especially someone on their second ever cash.
Blind still 100,000, 200,000 for 5 more minutes. How do you balance out your playing time with your studying time? What would you say the ratio is?
That really depends on what's going on tournament wise.
Of course.
I'm very different than most people. I'll go through. I'll take time off. I'm fairly low volume outside of the World Series, and then when the World Series comes around, I will study really hard for 2 months or so heading into the World Series, and then it's all day every day. If I bust the noon tournament, I'm hopping in the 3 p.m. If I bust the 3 p.m., I'm hopping in whatever is running. So I kind of mix it. I'll prepare for big series, and then during the rest of the year, I'd say it's probably 1/3 study, 2/3 play.
Good stuff here. Ryan Leng, 2-time circuit ring winner, and of course a bracelet back in 2018. He's a poker coach, really good player, plays all the games. And by the way, it's not just a matter of, I wanted to get to this. It's not even just a question of the bracelet and the circuit. We always talk about those things. You also, you won probably one of the last live tournaments of the year, right? You won an 8-game mix at the Win. You won a PLO no limit circuit ring earlier this year. So, I mean,
Yeah,
you've been killing it this year before obviously we all went into lockdown. But the one thing I
yeah,
wanted to ask, sorry, go ahead. I was going to ask you, the one thing I wanted to ask you about was take me back to May of 2012. You were a young, scrapping kid and probably just starting out in poker. And I checked out your Hendon Mob. You had 3 tournament wins in 5 days. I don't
yeah.
care if you're I don't care if you're playing against like in a family game. And by the way, he wasn't. 3 tournament wins in 5 days is so impressive.
So this was at Bellagio 5 Diamond, and I was coming off of Supernova Elite shortly after Black Friday, I believe. Um, and I was just transitioning to live poker, and the Bellagio 5 Diamond was running while there was something big in Europe. So like all the tough local like high roller players, they were all over in Europe. So the fields were small and fairly soft. And obviously, I I ran really, really well. I sun ran. Um, but I was also very confident coming from, nonstop work online to these live tournaments with soft fields. And yeah, things just went right for me that week. It was fun.
Yeah, man, it's pretty crazy. 3 tournament wins in 5 days. Thanks for joining us in the chat. Gunner Poker in there. Gunner's had a great series as well. Lucky Hayden. You are lucky. Wicked One. James the Bear. Thanks for joining us. We're back at it tomorrow night. We've got PLO. $500 pot limit Omaha, 6 max tomorrow night. And then on Tuesday, I've got Joe McKeon, the 2015 World Series of Poker main event champion, won a bracelet during this series a few days ago. He has reached out, wanted to do some commentary. Who am I to say no? Joe, please come on. So we got Joe McKeon on Tuesday night. Make sure you join us on July 21st for that. Should be a lot of fun. Young Koi all in. Young Koi up to 3.7 million. By the way, a little thing about Hunt Dizzle here, Hunter Fry. He's been around for a while. So not only does he have over 1 million in career live tournament winnings, this is his 4th World Series of Poker final table. But in addition to that, he has a World Series of Poker final table like 13 years ago, and then also won 7 years ago. So this guy
Wow, so
he's been grinding for a while.
yeah. When I looked him up, he looked a lot younger than that. So he must have had some success very early on.
I mean, he could have, right. I mean, he also could have been 24 years old in 2007.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I mean, he could be a spry looking 40 right now. Chopa up to 10 million chips. He is our chip leader once again. KB Concepts down to 2.5 million. And the dynamic at this table has certainly changed. Meatball 44 came in as the chip leader. He is still one of the chip leaders, but Nam has given some of his chips away, KB as well, and Chopa has kind of emerged up to 9.6.
Yeah, it's now Meatball and Chopa at the top, and if one of them can separate themselves from the other one, then they can really start to apply some pressure and set themselves up to get heads up.
Let me ask you, if you're one of the shorter stacks, if you're Young Koi, Hunt Dizzle, 610, or KB Concepts, what's your mindset right now if it's you?
Well, it's a big difference between being Young Koi and KB Concepts. If I'm KB Concepts, there's really no pressure, right? I'm expected to be the next one out, so I'm not worried about busting. There's no ICM implications, so I'm going to take some chances, and I'm going to be willing to gamble. If I'm Young Koi, I want to be waiting out KB Concepts and 610. So I would be more incentivized to be tight and let those players bust before I start to make some moves.
Nam in the unfortunate seat position of having the chip leader on his left. He's going to limp in. We get a raise here from Chopa. He says, no. I'm the chip leader. I'm the big dog here. You want to play a pot, it's going to cost you.
Yeah, I like that. He should be doing that over Nam's limps there.
And just so hard for Nam. I mean, he doesn't want to play a big pot against the chip leader on his left.
Exactly. What day did you say you're having Joe on?
Joe's going to be on Tuesday. So 2 days.
That's going to be great. I can listen to Joe talk poker for hours.
Unfortunately, these final tables don't last hours. I could too. And it's something I actually miss. I mean, hey, I'm thrilled to be here covering the World Series of Poker Online Bracelet Series. It's a ton of fun. But as odd as it might sound, we got an all in here. Does Nam make the call? About 1.7 million back to him, 1.8 actually. He's getting a pretty good price. But he's going to let that go. KB Concepts up to 3.1 million. Nam still on 5.6. So something I miss in years past, and obviously you did commentary with me a couple of years ago. You know, the 6, 7, 8, 10-hour long final tables. Now, listen, I mean, nothing wrong with having a quick work day and going to grab a beer. I'm all for that. You know, you guys know me. You know I like my beer. But when I get, somebody like you on, or somebody like Joey Ingram on, or somebody like Joe McKeon on, I wish I want to have at least 3 or 4 hours with you guys so I can pick your brain.
Yeah, those are great. I love watching those final tables, listening to to you and all your guests. It's just like, I mean, some people just come on and they have a wealth of knowledge willing to share. It's a lot of fun, and it's a great way to study. It's a great way to learn.
Yeah. You are you flatter me by saying me, but I know the truth. It's all about the guests, which is, by the way, which is totally fine. For me, it's always been all about the guests. Nines versus ace king. Oh, how
Wow.
about Broadway? An ace chops it up? No, not an ace. Both players make a straight, but Nam, just an unfortunate spot for him. He picks up a really good hand, felt like he had to go with it, and he is out in 7th place. And if you're any of the other short stacks, you are thrilled with seeing that. Nam takes home $19,148. Our remaining 6 players guaranteed $25,287. How have you noticed the competition level of the online bracelet series so far?
It completely depends on the tournament. Obviously, like a tournament like today at 400, you can expect your early tables to be fairly soft. But most of these fields have been pretty tough as it gets deeper and deeper. There's obviously a lot of great players in Nevada and New Jersey, and a lot of the great New York players have, uh, you know, they're renting a house or something in New Jersey. So there's a lot of tough regs, but at the same time, there's just a lot of people that, hey, it's a bracelet event. That's fun. Let's go, let's go fire a couple of them, and they're just there for fun. So uh, I'd say it's kind of it's give and take in that way, where you're gonna have, oh wow, hang on, we have an
We got
all
an
in
all in
here.
here. Ace King versus 6. KB Concepts needs to fade a 2-outer on the river. He does just that, and KB Concepts dubs up to 6.2 million. Meatball 44, that's Vincent Abalahani, is down to 5.7 million. Chopa, though, our overwhelming chip leader as we head to break. Clayton Fletcher, who I had on a few days ago, probably a week ago, talked about this, said he's played a lot of WSOP.com. He goes to New Jersey once in a while. He lives in New York. But he said, when he was playing events last year or January, February, March, he said the play on the site was actually quite soft. But he said that there was a noticeable difference during this bracelet series.
Yeah. So what I've actually noticed it in are the side events. Like if they're like today, there was a 1K and a 500. Those side events have been a lot tougher than they normally are,
Right.
because they're not going to attract the casual player who wants to show up and play a bracelet event. So those fields have been really tough. I think the bracelet events are just always going to be good just because they're bracelet events.
Let me ask you about that last hand we just saw, the pocket nines for Nam. I mean, nines are a really strong hand. Obviously, Chopa with the chip lead certainly could be 3-betting light. Do you think you have to 4-bet shove there with nines, or can you get away from it?
I I don't think you have to, but man, it's such a tough spot. Um, you should expect Chopa to just be 3-betting super light. And the first time we limped small blind, Chopa 3x'd it. So we know that they're going to be attacking us, and they're incentivized to attack us. But at the same time, you know, it's really a travesty to come in uh, second or third and wind up going out seventh. So um, super close. You know what I would be doing actually in that spot? I would be open limping, and then I would probably just be able to peel Chopa's raise there and go post flop.
Right, and then once you see a 10 Jack Queen flop, maybe a check call the flop and then fold turn when the king comes off. I don't even know, man.
Yeah, I mean, then we make the
It's
low end of the straight.
such a disgusting spot.
Yeah, it's a super gross spot. It really sucks to bust before the short stacks, but at the same time, I mean, if we get that through, it's such a big pot, and we really expect Chopa to just be doing that super light.
Yeah, no doubt, no
And
doubt.
then,
Listen, by the way, I can't. I have to see it. I think the fans want to see it. I know the chat wants to see it. I can see them. They're clamoring for it. Can you take the hat off? Can we see the hair?
oh
I don't
god,
even believe
all
it's
right,
real. It looks like a wig. Come on, let's see that
all
hair.
right, let's do it.
See that? Oh yeah, shake that out. Look at that. Look at that. That is 2020 hair at its best. That is amazing. That is
Yeah,
well
the
done, you.
The flow is real. The flow is very real right now. It's got to be
Nice.
the longest it's ever been.
What does the girlfriend think? Does she like the hair?
She likes it.
I was gonna
She
say, I think it
likes
looks good on
playing with
you.
it. I mean, there's nothing I
Hey,
can
hey,
do with
hey,
it
hey!
to make
Whoa,
it look
whoa, Ryan!
reasonable.
It's a family-friendly show, okay?
No, she likes how she likes how long and thick it is, but she doesn't. There's really nothing that I can do with it to make it look presentable. So as far as how it looks when my hat is off, I'm sure she doesn't like it, but
I
she
think
doesn't
it looks
mind.
good. Right.
I appreciate it.
By the way, Young Koi, you mentioned Sang Lee. We've got a little bit more information about him, courtesy of our amazing research staff. Our research staff is one person. His name is Saum. So give him some love in the chat. He's in the chat occasionally, guys. So if you see him in the chat, sometimes he's on the Jeff Platt stream as well. Give him love. He is our research staff. One guy. Sang Lee, by the way, won a ring in March in the online circuit. So he has one ring. This is his 5th cash of the series, and he has 93,000 in earnings on World Series of Poker. So 17 of his 22 cashes are online, though. So obviously an online guy, but here making another final table. So certainly
Yeah, and
impressive
that's
on 3.1 million.
you're going to see a lot of players like that where you look up their live stats and they don't have a whole lot of live results, but that certainly doesn't mean that they're not fantastic players. This is a different realm, a different world, and there are some fantastic, uh, mostly online players. A lot of them in New Jersey, a lot of them in Nevada. I would say more so in New Jersey. Most of the Nevada players are also playing live, but there are a lot of just fantastic players that most of us have never heard of.
Mr. Scoy says, Jeff Platt stream is more hype than this. Keep in mind, Jeff Platt stream is on a 6-second delay. So Jeff is not going to talk strategy too much because he doesn't want to literally be giving people advice as they're playing a hand. We actually didn't realize that. And I had Matt Berkey on the show, and we kind of right during the show, we realized, wait a second, we shouldn't be talking strategy. We're not on a delay, which is why now we're actually on a couple of minute delay so we can talk a little bit of strategy and not affect the hands that are being played in front of us.
It makes sense.
Right. Blinds are now 120,240. We got a raise on the button from KB Concepts. Once again, that is Kenneth Phillips. Ace 10 deuce, 2 clubs out there. This should certainly favor the original raiser. And KB is going to bet it. Young Koi thinking about what he wants to do. He's got 2.6 million. He's going to call. Check, check on the turn. It's a king. Another king on the river. And the 10 is good. Let me ask you something. Would you have liked a double barrel there from KB? Ace 10.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I think we're gonna start to fold out some 10x there in that
That,
spot.
that was my thought. And our opponent
Yeah,
shouldn't have that many. Our opponent shouldn't have that many aces because if he's got a big ace, he's probably shoving pre, isn't he?
yep, yeah, absolutely. But he still has plenty of ace four, ace littles, ace mediums that he's gonna
Yeah.
defend there. But yeah, I mean, Young Koi was one of the stacks that you could be applying pressure to, so I would have been fine with a double barrel.
I mean, Queen Jack got there on the turn too.
Yeah, yep. Queen Jack gets there. King 10 is certainly a defend. It's one of the 10s that Young Koi is going to have there. That makes 2 pair on the turn. So I don't mind double barreling. I also don't. We don't know what KB had. May have had a good hand to shut down.
Yeah. I mean, hey, listen, I might be results oriented right now. We can see the cards, and it's really hard to remove yourself. Jack 9 versus Queen 10.
Oh.
Diamonds get there. Oh my! Hunt Dizzle flops trip jacks, gets it in good against the gut shot straight flush draw, not just straight, but like royal flush draw. I mean, if Chopa was really good, he would have hit the royal flush. Instead, he hits the flush, and that's good enough to eliminate our good friend Hunter. In 6th place, Hunter takes $25,287 home, and we are down to our final 5. Each player guaranteed 33,000. Something I was just touching on there is, when we're watching this from home, when we're commentating on this from our booth, it's so easy to kind of slip into and be results oriented. And I have to admit, maybe I am being, once I saw Hung Koi's, Young Koi's hand being a 10-8, maybe I was being results oriented. I still think, though, that probably a double barrel. I don't know.
Yeah,
Just my
it
thought.
definitely seems like a good spot to double barrel with a lot of KB's range. But they certainly could have had, the right hand to give up with, or to, they may have had some showdown value as well.
By the way, in my defense, Valentin Vornico, of course, right?
Yep, of course.
He is M Blaster X in the chat. What's up, M Blaster X? He did commentary a couple of days ago. They're on a 2-minute delay, so the chat is literally 2 minutes behind us. Ace 8 versus King Queen. There's an 8. He also has diamonds. River's a 7 of hearts, and the 8 holds. 6-1-6-1-0 with the double up to 6.2 million. Chopa had a ton of outs on the turn. Did not get one of them, though. He's still our chip leader on 17.4 million. Anyway, M Blaster X says, how do you not barrel? He has no ace. So he agrees with me.
Yeah, I disagree that he has no ace. I think he has plenty of ace X. But yeah, I mean, I certainly think it's a spot where KB could double barrel at a fairly high frequency.
By the way, you also pointed out King 10 is also one of those hands he's almost always going to be, defending too.
Right.
I mean, obviously that doesn't make up a huge portion of his range, but still, nonetheless.
Right.
Anyway, Ryan Leng, very gifted poker player, and I think you're pretty good at this commentary thing too. I got to get you in more.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I love doing it. Would love to do it next year in a live setting.
That'd be nice, man. Like, we're all hoping for that.
Yep.
610 defends the big blind and lets it go. Chopa, he is in such an enviable position right now. I don't know how much experience he has in terms of this kind of spot, whether he's a sit and go guy or not. But I'm just going to ask you from a mathematical point of view, could he open shove every hand?
I certainly wouldn't, but he could be opening almost every hand. He could be opening really, really wide.
Okay.
The stacks are deep enough where I don't want to just be open shoving. If we lose to Meatball 610. Now we're down to 13. They're up to 10. They're right there with us. We have a great position. We're in a dream spot here right now. I mean, 5-handed for a bracelet. Everybody has like equal medium stacks, and we have the big stack. We can just pound it with min raises, and just win pot after pot.
I mean, are you fairly certain that your opponents, because of the pay jumps, are you fairly certain that your opponents are not going to be 3-betting you light all that often?
Yeah, you can be fairly certain until you see otherwise, and then you can adjust.
By the way, this is a really interesting spot. We got a raise in the butt, a 3-bet, and then Chopa called.
Meatball with an interesting sizing on this board. I don't think he or she needs to go this size. I think they can go very small on such a dry board there.
How do you determine your sizing usually? Is it based on the board texture?
Based on board texture, based on my range versus their range, and how our ranges interact with each other, and based on stack depth as well. And then obviously now we're going to be taking in ICM into consideration.
Well, this time Meatball's going to bet 480,000. Chopa not so quick to let it go. He's going to raise 1.2 million back to Meatball. He lets it go. James DeBear asking, how does someone have a name like 610? Unless, of course, as he points out, he says it could be Randy Johnson, because Randy Johnson is 6'10". Baseball's back, by the way. I'm not even. I mean, I'm a sports guy. I'm not a huge baseball guy. I do like baseball, but at this point, I'm clamoring for anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I had Sports Center on. I saw a game with the empty stadiums. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
the cardboard cutouts.
Yeah.
It's so. I mean, I don't. I guess it's better than the empty seats. I don't know. It's funny.
Well, one of the games got delayed because they had a sound machine to give fake fan noises, and apparently
Right.
it was malfunctioning, and so
Just yeah,
horrible feedback coming through the arena.
just pull the plug.
Yeah,
Turn it off. I mean, if it's not working, turn it off. It's not necessary, right?
yeah,
Got a little action here. A bet by 610. A call from Meatball. Check on the turn. Certainly could have tried to rep the ace, although Meatball was the one who he actually opened this from under the gun. So it's not
yeah.
a
So
big blind versus button. Oh, wow.
oh wow.
King 10. Just the
Yeah,
nuts. That's
I
it.
was gonna say that ace is a better card for Meatball for the most
Yeah, no
part.
doubt.
I mean, it's fairly neutral, but Meatball's gonna have more ace X when they raise pre and check call flop.
All in here from Young Koi. Young Koi with a circuit ring to his name. Looking for a bracelet. He's got a lot of work to do. Our chip leader, by the way, is still Chopa, who has twice as much as a second place Meatball. And 610 is now kind of our far and away short stack with just 2.1 million. Oh, also more news on young Koi. He apparently has just under 400,000 on 888 Poker New Jersey.
88 New Jersey. That's just WSOP, right? That's WSOP.com.
It's a skin for that, yeah, basically.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a ton. So
That's
yeah,
yeah, I mean that's
clearly very experienced in the online game. So um, probably a huge threat here, especially if they can find a double.
all in. Going to take it down, and suddenly young Koi up to 4.3 million, 610 down to 1.8 million. You play all the games now. I noticed, obviously the 8-game mix. You came in first place earlier this year. Do you have a favorite game now?
No Limit Deuce to Seven has been my favorite game for a long time. I mean, No Limit Hold'em MTTs are always going to be my favorite game. But of the mixed games, I love No Limit Deuce. I like Triple Draw. I am still just learning a lot of the games. I've started studying them. Um, so yeah, the win there, the 8-game win. I got heads up against Benny, who is he's one of the best mixed game players in the
Ben,
world.
you?
No, why can't I think of his last name right now? It's I mean we're friends. We studied together, and I just can't think of his British player. He's got 4 bracelets.
Oh, yes, I know who you're talking about. Just by saying British, it'll come to me. Keep going.
Benny Glazier.
Yep, and he had a year where he won 208 tournaments, sevens versus ace 10.
Oh wow.
A jack, a queen, an ace, a 10 will do it. The 8 of spades not, and Meatball 44 up to 12 million chips. KB Concepts, Kenneth Phillips gone in 5th place. He'll take home $33,624, and we are down 2-4. Yeah, Benny Glazier is an absolute beast at mixed games, specifically 08. 08, I mean, he might be top 10 in the world in that game.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player. He's fantastic at No Limit Hold'em as well. So we've actually gotten to know each other fairly well during this whole quarantine, and we've been studying together. We're renting a server together and running Sims on PoSolver. So I've gotten to know him fairly well. Fantastic guy, fantastic player, super smart, so sharp, very hardworking. Um, yeah, just a big fan of his
All in a
overall.
call. King Jack versus Jacks. A king eliminates 610. That's not a king. And Jacks hold 610 up to 5.6 million. Chopa down to 16.1, and we continue on. Wicked One says Tuck will be watching the WNBA on Saturday. At this point, I would watch bass fishing. Okay? I like fishing. I don't like watching fishing normally. I would watch bass fishing right now and probably bet on it. Blinds 140,000, 280,000.
It's interesting. We've lost two of the big stacks coming in, and then you look at 610, 610, and Young Koi, both short stacks coming in, still alive, four-handed, and both of them one double up away from being a big threat to win.
Yeah, and this is it's been the case, most nights, we get a couple of short stacks that just are able to navigate their way through the minefield and ladder up, and wouldn't surprise me at all if one of those two players ended up heads up. That's kind of been the case each night. Meatball, by the way, certainly back in the mix. He came in as the chip leader. He's second right now, but obviously certainly a threat with 12.1 million. Chopa, our chip leader, on 15.6. Ryan Feldman in the chat. What's up, Ryan? Ryan did a great job on commentary. We got Ace King versus Jacks. Young Koi needs help on the river. And that is not going to do it. Yep, Jacks versus Ace King, four-handed. I mean, how do you just rationalize tournament poker when you get into situations like this where it's like, let me just flip a coin for $60,000 in EV?
Yeah, and I mean, both players just have, massive hands compared to what they are supposed to be showing up with there. I mean, they're both so thrilled to get it in there. It's just that's just brutal. Four-handed button versus big blind, you get those two hands. That's tough.
Yeah, I just a hand. I call it. It's just a hand that plays itself. I mean, no matter what. I mean, both players are kind of unlucky to be in that situation. How often is Chopa going to have Ace King and his opponent's going to have Ace Queen? He's going to have him dominated. How many times are you going to have Jacks and Chopa's going to have pocket nines and you'll have him dominated? Just an unfortunate situation for Young Koi, who is gone in fourth place. He takes home 44,985. From the looks of it, though, we have not heard the last of him. Song Lee seems to be a player, and certainly a player to watch over the next couple of weeks and going forward, making some noise as he is now well over 400,000 in online earnings and over $500,000 all time. Ace 10 versus King Jack. We could be heads up. No! Oh. 610 spikes the river. King of Hearts on the river. He's up to 12 million. And we got a three-way horse race now.
Would love to have seen the reaction from 610 there.
You know what? People have been videoing and recording their reactions. I'm not sure I'm not sure which is my favorite one. But please do me a favor, if you make a deep run, you've got to have like a little camera on you that at all times just record the entire final table.
All right. Will do. Yeah, I have my webcam set up. I'll just pull it up and start recording. I would be pretty tame. I'm not a big I don't celebrate all that often, but I've seen some of these celebrations. Obviously Mac Daddy's was fantastic.
Love. Got an all in here. Oh, and a call. Ace Queen versus sixes. What a cooler. Oh brutal. My. That is absolutely brutal. And just like that, we're heads up. I said one of the short stacks would get heads up, but talk about a cooler there. Pocket sixes versus Ace Queen. Another situation that's just unavoidable for Meatball. He's gone in third place. He takes home $60,744. We are heads up, and it's 610 with a chip lead, about a 2-1 chip lead over Chopa.
I mean, just a few hands ago, he was all in and heading to the river, about to bust. Now he has a 2-1 chip lead.
That's just wrapping my head around that. Like, he was literally one card away from the door, and he hits a king with King Jack versus Ace 10. He hits the king. He survives, and then 6 hands later, he's probably got about I'd say, 62% chance of winning the bracelet right now, 65%.
I'd say 61%. I think you're off with 62, but that's fine.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, just in a fantastic spot now. I mean, 2-1 chip lead heads up, and I mean, rewind 10 minutes, and he's looking like he's going to get fourth place.
Right, and of course, the difference between first and fourth, by the way, $90,000. Both these players, by the way, guaranteed $82,732. The difference between first and second, essentially what they're playing for right now, is $51,000, and the most coveted piece of jewelry you can get in the poker world, a World Series of Poker bracelet. So $51,000 heads-up match right now between 610, and Chopa.
Just a casual 50K heads up match. No big deal.
And unless I'm completely off base here, I do not believe we know anything about either player. No, we don't know names. That's kind of been the case, by the way. Our research staff, Saum, does a great job. Gets me names for like 6 or 7 of the players at the final table, and invariably the guy who ends up winning is the guy he doesn't find the name for, or it's
Of
just not
course, yeah.
there. You know.
I've noticed that. I've noticed that in these tournaments. But that's also made for some great stories and like we were talking about, some great reaction videos.
My favorite one. I mean, they're all Ryan DePaulo winning it in the parking lot, getting out and screaming, you know, I'm a god, I'm a legend was just epic. I mean, absolutely epic. Ryan DePaulo. I was a fan before. Now I'm a huge fan. I love it. It was unbelievable. Obviously, you mentioned the Ronnie McMillan one, the McDaddy one, the guy from Iowa, and his very first online event. He wins, and he's surrounded and he's going crazy. That's awesome. But my favorite one, and we're gonna show it to you not today, but probably I don't know, maybe Friday night on chat night. Michael Lex dance video. Did you see that?
I saw it today and I was cracking up. Too
I
funny.
mean, just absolute legend. Like
Yeah.
Michael Leck might be my favorite person in the poker world right now.
Yeah, that was fantastic. And you can just see like the joy on his face while he's dancing too. That's just like I, I I was loving it. I was cracking up. You could just
I
tell he was just like in such a great place.
I kind of want to see somebody film themselves. Okay, I'm gonna put this out there for everybody watching. Do a time lapse of yourself playing online poker. Now, 99.9% of the time when you play, you'll just take that time lapse and you'll just press the delete button and it'll be garbage. But when you finally do win one of these, that time lapse is going to be awesome.
Yeah. Especially if it's like a lot of ups and downs. If you get short and then chip lead and then short and then chip lead. So you're gonna have some like, some negative body posture and then you double up, but now you're big hand here.
Yeah, that is a
Wow,
big hand.
Chopa takes the chip lead.
That is a big, big hand. And just with that, as you mentioned, show up to 20.2 million, 610, 610 on 17.2 million. As somebody mentioned in the chat, yes, that is real money on the table. I know it looks like a graphic. Don't get fooled. That's real money.
These two are deep. Heads up here. I
Yeah.
mean, everything consolidated really quickly. Now, I mean, this could be a long heads up match.
Now, keep in mind, long on playing online is like, 16 minutes.
Right.
2.7 million in there. Every pot is huge. Have you noticed either player from a strategy perspective, what their approach is heads up? I always find heads up play intriguing, especially two players who might not have a ton of a ton of heads up experience, which is not surprising. And then two players who might not know each other also, kind of that like feeling out stage.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't picked anything up yet, and I doubt either of them have as well. I think they're just like you said, this is just kind of like the feeling out stage at this point. I think both players have played very well to get here, and neither of them were really out of line. Another big one for Chopa.
Yeah, Chopa now takes a 2-1 chip lead. And by the way, our research staff once again comes out strong. Saum killing it. Kenneth Huyn or Hui? I don't know. I can't pronounce his last name. I apologize. It's probably Kenny Hui or Huyn. Anyway, he has career live tournament winnings of $212,000. This is his second cash of the series, only his second ever World Series of Poker cash. But again, obviously has a lot of experience outside of this one. Not really. It looks like more of a live player than an online player, Chopa. But yeah, over 200,000 in live earnings. And actually, just earlier this year, he's running hot in 2020. I always try to look for when somebody's deep runs were. Last year, he came in 5th place in a Borgata for 69,000, and this year he came in 2nd place at Parks. Both are East Coast casinos for 80,000. So the
Okay,
vast
so
majority, the vast majority of his tournament winnings are all over the last, say, 12 months.
right, and that's a big difference. You see someone with a couple 100,000 in earnings, but if that's over, like you said, the last 12 months or so, um, that's gonna be Chopa is very comfortable at this stage in the tournament, comfortable playing for these stakes, has been there and been there recently. So, um, still going to be some pressure playing for a bracelet, but probably nothing that's going to affect his play.
Yeah, 1.5 million in there. Chopa was a 2-to-1 chip dog heading into this match, but now about a 2-to-1 chip advantage. Again, they're playing for $51,000 and a bracelet. Ryan Leng, David Tuchman here. We're back at it tomorrow. We've got PLO tomorrow night. That's the 4-card game. The great game.
That's going to be a fun one. PLO 6 max, fairly small enough buy-in where people are going to be blasting off early.
How's your PLO game?
I am very confident in my tournament PLO game. I am by no means an expert at PLO just in general, but I feel like my tournament strategy really comes into play in those tournaments, and I've had some good results over the short term. So, but for me, it's kind of it's almost like a day off, right? I'm playing so many no limit hold'em tournaments. I get to come in and play PLO. It's a tournament. I'll have a couple beers. I'm not too worried. Like if I bust, I bust. Oh well, it's the PLO tournament. But it's just going to be a lot of fun.
Blinds are 140, 280 right now. These players, as you pointed out, are fairly deep. And look at this all in.
Wow.
He just 19 million into 8, and there's a call.
Call
6-9 versus 6-3, and there's a straight. No, it's over. I can't believe it. Wow, what a cooler to end it. It's over. I didn't see that coming, Ryan. I'm not gonna lie, I did not see that coming.
I told you it was going to be a really long heads-up match.
Yeah, but I mean that pot, it seemed like, I mean, there's 7 million in there. I'm kind of watching and I'm like, okay, one guy's going to bet 2.5 million. The other guy's going to call, and we'll see what happens. And suddenly you see that massive over bet. And I guess he got called by one of the very few hands that you actually have beat, which is trip sixes.
Yeah. That I was not expecting that either. That happened really fast.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about pot limit Omaha with you. I wasn't expecting that. Nonetheless, Chopa, just amazing there. Chopa, that is Kenny Huynh with 212,000 career live tournament winnings until today. But now he adds nearly $134,000 to his poker resume, and of course a World Series of Poker bracelet. That was a fun one. I mean, despite no huge names, that was a lot of fun. Ryan, by the way,
yeah, some great play.
Yeah, I will let you know. Now, I don't know if you know this, but I commentated on the Galfon Challenge, and I feel like I'm now more than capable. If you want, I can coach you in PLO.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, we'll talk off the air. I don't want to make it awkward, but
all right. Well,
hey man, thank you so much.
It starts in 12 hours. So are we staying up all night? You're gonna teach me PLO?
We can do it, man. We got 12 hours and 34 minutes. You ready? Pulling all nighter?
I'm in. Yep.
Done. We'll do it. We'll crack open the beers and we'll do it. By the way, the last time I did commentary with you, I think I felt the same way as I do now. And I don't know how we haven't done this. I was like, you're the kind of guy I could have a beer with.
Yeah, we got to do it. I brought beer to the booth last time, but obviously we weren't drinking while we were commentating, and I think I just left it in the fridge.
You said you were going to bring. You said you were going to bring beer tonight too, man.
I am still a little hungover from last night. I did not bring the beer tonight. I had a rough one last night.
Fair enough. I want to say hi to everybody in the chat once again. Gunner Poker, Get Monero, Poo Dog Melissa, Benjamin, Cronzilla, What a Kilo 3. Thank you all. M Blaster X, of course, thank you all for joining us. We are back at it tomorrow. Once again, it is $500 pot limit Omaha. If you want to play that event, starts at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Of course, you've got to be in Nevada or in New Jersey to play it. It's a 6 max. Should be an absolute blast. And of course, the final table will be here on YouTube, Facebook, or on Twitch. Ryan, thank you so much. For everybody at PokerGo, for everybody at the World Series of Poker, I am David Tuchman. Until next time, good night.